Welcome everybody back to the Figure Kit Garage. Brent Krug bringing you video number 2 of my unboxings for the evening. And this one I've been waiting, I guess you could say, a lifetime for in certain respects. But most of my friends know that I am a very big sci-fi fanatic. But I also like swords and sorcery and sci-fi fantasy and things along those lines. And in 1983, Columbia Pictures released a film that combined a little bit of all that sci-fi and fantasy, swords and sorcery, and that film was called Krull. And one of the things I remember, I think one of the things a lot of people remember about that film, is the fact it has one of the most unique weapons ever made. And it was the weapon that Prince Colwyn had to retrieve to be able to defeat the Beast and rescue Princess Lissa from the Black Fortress. And of course, we're talking about the Glaive. This is a 19-piece resin kit made by Hole in the Ground Productions. Go over the pieces real quick. When you get the Glaive, the two body pieces are already pre-assembled. You will have to do some putty work along the half and half lines, which I have already starting to get those blended in quite well. Sorry about the video blur. There we go. All in all, it's a very nicely detailed kit. I'll have to do some smoothing with some fine grade sandpaper. I've already had to fill in a few air pockets and body blemishes, but I've been waiting a long time for a kit like this, and this does not disappoint. I will admit, watching the film, I thought the Glaive was a lot bigger than this, and seeing it now and then watching the movie again the other day, I realized it's actually not as big as I thought. So it is actually kind of nice. It is a 1-to-1 scale piece. Hole in the Ground Productions specializes in doing prop replicas from various sci-fi TV series and movies. The Glaive from Krull, the Deckard's gun from Blade Runner, the PPG pistol, and several props from Babylon 5. I believe they have what's called the energy sword from the video game Halo, and even parts and pieces for a 1-to-1 scale Ghostbusters Proton Pack, which they have a video of on their website, which is actually really cool. When they fire that thing up, it actually has the sound effects and everything. So it's actually pretty badass. This kit is $65, unfinished. They have a finished piece that goes for $170. And one of the things that they say on the description on the website, is that because of the popularity of this item, it can take anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. I ordered this on a Thursday night, Friday morning, and within a week and a half, not even just, it was just shy of 2 weeks, about a week and a half, if that, I had this thing in the mail, and I was not disappointed. So, and I found out that this was available. Somebody had posted a photo of the kit on Facebook with all the parts and pieces, and I had to find out where this was available from, because I've been wanting one for the longest time. So I'm glad I got it. Grail kit off the list. So we'll take a look at the other pieces. We have 10 of these little jewels with little teeth on the bottom that you'll have to bend in or completely break off, but they will go right here in the eyelets at the end of every arm on both sides. Then we have 2 of these little half crystals that will sit right in the center, like so. Those will have to be glued in. And of course, what would the Glaive be without blades? And there's 5 of them, all cast in fairly high quality gray resin, just like the Glaive itself. They do have a little bit of bend to them, so this, you have to be careful putting these things in. And we'll insert each one in. It goes in just like that. Oh, sorry about bumping the camera. And these things are not a perfect fit. You'll have to sand down the tabs to get these things to slide in the right way. I plan on gluing the blades in more than anything else because it looks great. It looks good without it. It looks good without the blades. It looks fantastic with the blades. Try to get a little bit of a view on that, but there you have it. The mystical Glaive from Kroll. Just an amazing piece. And without the blades, it measures 7 3/4 inches in diameter, and with the blades, it's just a hair under a foot. So fairly decent size. Like I said, I thought it was way bigger in the movie. It looks bigger in the film, but after having held it and comparing it to what you see on screen, this is fairly accurate. The engravings aren't a part of it. As I found out, it does have runes engraved on both sides along the perimeter of the arms. Whether or not I actually attempt to do that will be a last-minute decision. I can almost guarantee it. But one of the things that Hole in the Ground Productions recommended, that if you get the kit and you want to display it with the blades out, you need to get the base. Because these blades, yeah, it can sit up on it, but it's not recommended because eventually they'll warp or they'll break. Excuse me. So the base comes in 5 pieces, and it's $10. And altogether, with the Glaive and the base plus shipping, I paid $85 altogether. Really not that bad of a deal. The base is fairly simple, casted in gray resin. The feet will slide, get this the right way, slide right inside. Now I don't have a lot of room to display this with the size of the base, so I think what I'm going to do is take some 3M Velcro adhesive strips, put a couple on the back, put a couple on my wall, and turn this into a wall display. But I'll keep the feet for later if I get the room. I'll be able to turn it into a regular tabletop display. And then these little pillars that come with it will fit right in here. I'll have to pin these in. I already know that. Sit in there like that. And then the Glaive will sit just like so. Actually, it should sit like that. There we go. Really beautiful design. I wish I could turn it straight vertical, but those things will fall out. I don't have the holes drilled to pin them in yet. But for $85 with shipping plus the kit and the stand, Hole in the Ground Productions does a really good job at replicating one of my favorite weapons from, and I think it's an awesome film. I never seen anything like it until when it came out, and I don't think there's ever been anything like it since. I mean, yeah, you have Dragon Slayer and the Sword and the Sorcerer, but Kroll had a heartbeat all of its own, and I'm kind of glad for that. So if you're looking to get a fairly decent copy of the Glaive, check out Hole in the Ground Productions. I'll leave a link to their website in the comments below. If you like what you see, give it a like, subscribe, support the Figure Kit Garage as much as you can. And that is it for video number 2 of these out-of-box reviews. Everybody have a good evening, stay safe, stay healthy, build a kit.